Did your wife cheat on you? Did she betray your trust? Did she go and sleep with another dude? Some dude you knew? Maybe some dude you didn't know. Like, bruh, how you doing? That's my real question for you. Like, how are you doing with that? Because that can do a number on you as a man. I have a dear friend of mine, actually a client that I worked with for a number of years, who discovered after many years of being suspicious that his wife was cheating on him, had been cheating on him, discovered that she actually had been cheating on him. And this guy has, he's a Super Bowl champion. He's had a brilliant NFL career. He has made gobs of money. They got a beautiful family together. I mean, he's got all the rides. He's got all the toys. You understand? He was destroyed. And I've never seen a man um, go through that kind of pain. And I'm serious. I'm concerned. Like, how are you doing? If your wife cheated on you, like, how are you making it through this? What are you doing to survive, to get yourself back to where you really want to be? Just know, man, that you got my love, bro. You got my you got my empathy. I feel for you if that's where you are. But you probably also have been asking the question like, why? Why did my wife cheat on me? Maybe you haven't been able to ask her, or maybe the answers that she's giving you have not been satisfactory. You're like, nah, I'm not even feeling that. Don't, nah, that don't make no sense. Let me give you a few reasons that wives cheat on their husbands. And this is not exhaustive. Like, I can't give you 100 reasons. I can give you four really important ones, and you just want to process these because I think it can be helpful to you. And my hope is that there's an opportunity for some reconciliation. Maybe and you might be like, nah, I ain't having nothing to do with her. And I get that. I fully get that. But there might still be potential for the relationship. I don't know. That's not my choice. That's your choice. Yeah, it can be a real doozy. Where do we begin this? Where do we begin this? Let's start with low self-esteem. Could it be that your wife cheated on you, dipped on you, stepped out on you with another dude because she has low self-esteem? Yeah, it's quite possible that it's because of her low self esteem. She feels poorly about herself, and she's been feeling poorly about herself, and she's always felt poorly about herself. And you have seen this pattern, right? She talks negative about herself. I need to lose some weight. I'm not cute enough. I'm not this enough. She compares herself to other people. You'd be amazed how many women suffer from low self esteem. And what seems like the fix for feel good is a run into the arms and the bed of another dude. And again, I don't want to be graphic, right? It's your story, but what I have seen is that sometimes when a woman has low self-esteem, she she goes and tries to boost her esteem. By the way, dudes do this too. Dudes with low self-esteem will go out and just go try to find some sex. And yeah, and it doesn't work. It doesn't fix them. They feel worse after than they did before. But what drove them could have been low self esteem. And maybe that's your story. I don't know. I just want to give you some understanding because you're asking why. You've been asking why, and there's not been nothing acceptable. You thought it was you. You thought it was you, like you weren't doing enough. You weren't enough as a man, as a husband. And I understand how you could feel that way. Like that's one of the most egregious things that a brother can go through is when his wife goes and sleeps with another dude. But it could have been her own low self esteem, which was nurtured and fostered in her upbringing and all the way into her marriage years. It was never resolved. And so it could be because of low self esteem. And my prayer goes out to her because she has destroyed something. She's destroyed you. She's destroyed your relationship, maybe destroyed your family. Um, and I wanted to say you can recover from it, but I understand it's a heavy, heavy lift. I had a couple call me a few months ago, um, and he was angry. He was seething. In fact, he didn't call me, she called me because she had an affair with someone and didn't, and he found out later after she had said she didn't. And so he didn't want to do any coaching. He didn't want to do any work. He didn't want to talk about it. He was just angry. He was pissed. And so I began to ask, I said, so tell me this about your story. Tell me that about your story. I began to ask some of my normal questions when people come to me about these things. And she said, for all of my life, I was never enough to my parents. And everything about my life was about my performance, my academic performance, my school performance. And I felt like I could never be enough. I couldn't even believe that the guy who married me actually loved me. I couldn't believe that he saw value in me. See, it wasn't his fault. It was what was going on inside of her, low self esteem. Let me give you a couple others. Um, Sex is confused with love with her. This is not uncommon. If a woman has suffered from SA, has had that experience, especially in her young years, there can be this thing in her emotional architecture and the memory of her emotions that has made her think that sex is the same thing as feeling loved. And so if she felt like she wasn't loved, she might have run out to somebody else to get a fix sexually. And I'm not saying it's your fault. Don't misunderstand me. You're not to blame for her decision, for her actions, for what she did. You get zero of that blame, but it may be helpful for you to know that she perhaps confuses, she's been doing this all her life, confused sex with love. And if you have been abused, as a girl, as a young lady, that confusion can take root and stick in there until they learn that, oh no, this is not the same thing. And so maybe it was a runaway or several, runs away, looking for love, looking for the feeling of love, because that's what uh, was told to her repeatedly in her painful, abused upbringing. All right. Um, Starved for attention and affection. Starved for attention and affection. A woman will find affection when her husband is working, paying her no attention, right? When he's running, he's golfing, he's traveling, he's doing all these things. And the longer it takes for her to get a consistent level dose of attention and affection, the more vulnerable she becomes to an affair. And again, I'm not making this your fault. People make their own decisions, but we can make contributions to the dynamics in our relationships that contribute. I mean, we make contributions that can help make the other person vulnerable. I've seen this happen both ways between a husband and a wife to her husband. I had one client who was working. She was, in corporate America. She was doing really well. And she was just grinding, going after it and working and working and working. And her husband began to feel like she's never home. Every time I turn around, she's got a meeting. And when she gets home, she's on a call. She got another meeting. And then he starts seeing another chick. And they discovered that it was because he grew up as a latchkey kid. His parents never or rarely paid him much attention because they were busy working. He was often home alone and lonely. And what he experienced in his childhood traveled with him into his adult marriage. And he began to feel this eerie, familiar feeling of aloneness, like a mom, dad who's never there for him. He was feeling that with his wife. and he started getting close to another woman. It was interesting when I was working with them as clients, him and his wife, as she began to share her story. She said, I worked so much, I forgot about him because I was so busy trying to not be out of milk. You're like, what? Trying to not be out of milk? What are you? What is you talking about? What I'm talking about is, she said, I grew up in a home where my parents always said, we don't have money for that. We don't have money for that. Don't drink all the milk. No, there's not enough milk for everybody. And so that was built into her psyche, her emotional architecture. And she began, from the time she was probably in her teenage years, working to try to not have to not, uh, working to not have milk. You're tracking with me. Well, when she got into her corporate life, she was grinding. She was like, I'm never going to be without milk. What she didn't know is that her husband was without her. And it was a perfect storm for his infidelity. And it can happen either way. And here's what I'm trying to say to you. I want to encourage you, my friend. Um, if you're going to work out this relationship, see if one of these that I'm mentioning is somewhere in the neighborhood of what's going on with your wife. And this is why she may have been unfaithful to you. Like, I know it hurts. I know it's overwhelming. I know you're probably angry. I know you're like, oh, no, like, forget all of that. But you're going to want to know, like, what's really under the hood, even if you move on to something else. I do want to remind you, like, you can rebuild a relationship. Like, this doesn't have to be the death knell. It doesn't have to be the end, especially if you got children. Like, there's a way forward. And I help people with this all the time. I help people work their way through infidelity, through betrayal, through cheating, through affairs, so that they can get to the root of why and get on track with a process to heal, to recover, to be transformed, and have amazing, amazing, amazing marriages. We are just about to launch an amazing resource that we call Rebuilding Us. It's the couple's guide to how to recover from infidelity. And I'm telling you, it's powerful. Most people have never had a framework. They're like, what do I do? Where do we start? And I want to invite you. You can pre order it. Just click on the link in the description. It might be a help to you. I think it will be a help to you if you're trying to figure out what could it look like moving forward. We also have a coaching program and private coaching for couples, if that interests you. So, bro, I'm just telling you, I want to resource you. I hope this can be helpful to you. Maybe somebody you know has been going through this. Let them know that there's a way forward. I hate seeing marriages, relationships destroyed when they can actually be repaired and be made better. Anyway, let me give you this last one. The last reason why. Why would your wife cheat on you? This is going to be weird, but style of attachment. Style of attachment. What does that mean? Our attachment style is simply how we operate in relationships. How we operate in relationship to one another. We start out with our most primary of relationships, that being to our parents, the family into which we're born, namely to our mom and our dad. And to the degree that our parents were emotionally aware and available and tuned into us, we develop a secure attachment style, which means we go through life, we're confident, right? Even when things get tough, we know there are people we can rely on. We ask for help, and we know that we can figure it out, and we're going to be okay. But if you don't get those things in your upbringing, you develop what we call negative attachment styles. And those can range from anxious to avoidant, or to what we sometimes call confused attachment. Well, it could be that your wife has developed a negative and unhealthy attachment style because of the experiences in her childhood. And we're not like blame the parents. That's not what we're doing here. What we're simply saying is these things impact us. It is scientifically proven that those things impact us, how our parents paid attention to us when we were crying, when we were hurt, when we were in need of their presence, how they responded to us. All of that stuff matters. It shapes something, wires something into our brains and into our emotional memories. And if she has an avoidant style or an anxious style, avoidant means that she wants intimacy, but she avoids it, she runs from it. Anxious means that she's constantly wondering if the shoe's going to drop and you're going to leave because people left all the time. She could have a confused style, if you will, because it was like 1 minute she's loved, the next minute she's hated, 1 minute she's cared for, the next minute is get out of here, I ain't got time for you, right? She developed it. Well, if she has a negative way of attaching in relationships, then the chaos that's been going on the inside of her can be so familiar to her, for one, that she'll run back into that chaos emotionally in an affair. It could also be that she is so concerned that you would even love her, right? Like she can't believe you love her. It's kind of back to the low self-esteem, but that he loves me. She don't know what to do with that, right? She kind of likes the idea, but she's never been really intimate. This might be the wife you got, right? She's not really warm and fuzzy and huggy and all those. She might not know what intimacy is. And so out of her fear of intimacy, she might just go and try to sabotage the relationship. It's possible. But I'm telling you, you can recover. She can be healed. I know it hurts. I'm not tripping. Like, I'm not one of them like pie in the sky dudes like, no, everything will work out. No, everything can possibly work out doing the right work, getting to the root, seeing what's really going on under the hood. But I hope that gives you some potential understanding as to why you might be in the situation you're in with your spouse or maybe your significant other. I'm not sure what the status is, what your status is. Hey, listen, hit me up in the comments if this is helpful. If you got some more questions, if you're interested in one of our coaching programs, perhaps, at least get Rebuilding Us. It's a great tool, great resource to help you begin to think about what could a way forward look like if you're going to keep the relationship. All right, hey, I'm glad we had this time together. The question was why your wife cheated on you, and I dropped in 4 reasons. Let me know what was helpful. If this was good, helpful, like, subscribe, share this with other people, and by all means, please drop something in the comments. Let me know some of your other questions. Maybe I can make some videos related to those. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Peace. May God bless you. We'll talk soon.